8 weeks, 4 days and 11 hours in Asia's world city. I never wanted to be a research analyst. I couldn't care for a 2,000-foot apartment with a harbour view, a sports car that I never drive, and a membership to Mission Hills like that tosser Charlie over there. And in case you're wondering, is he shit at golf? Yeah, they all are. "7 million people packed in like matches in a box. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, each one's looking for his or her lucky strike, unaware that even if they do make it, it's often the brightest flames that burn out the quickest. It was on my way home after taking my 5th call from London that I decided to make it my mission for the weekend. To extinguish the supposed glow above my own head, before work or anybody else could. At least you could say with certainty that the biggest decision that I'd ever make would be all mine, and what I wanted. Call me a coward, but I just didn't want to make it look like I'd done it on purpose. He died in a climbing accident, he'd pronounce. Always trying to reach the top. Should have been a standout, my dad. He never understood that what I really wanted was to reach the bottom. It's just that being a marine biologist isn't a proper job, is it? The plan was easy. I'd scale the wall like Mr. Incredible over there with the isosceles body, and simply untie myself when I was high enough, chucking myself backwards head first. Truth was, I couldn't get any higher. Not even on half a ton of Charlie's magic talc. In fact, the more I tried, the more I shook, and I came off before I'd undone the figure of 8. I thought about simply jumping the barriers instead, and stepping in front of a bus. But I just couldn't bear to think about the poor driver or passengers for that matter. It's none of their business after all. You know, it's weird, but when you want to die, it's like everything around you slows down. It's as though your body's crying out. Take a good look around. Make sure you take everything in. You never know, you might just see something. You might even change your mind. It was in this weird moment of serenity that I realised that if I wanted to be sure of death, then I'd have to keep things simple. Our medicine box back home was always crammed with stuff, full of geriatric remedies, Anusol, Remigel, Sudocrem, Imodium. Of course we needed them. My mother wasn't the most stable of sorts. Dad wore her down a bit, I suppose, so stuff was always coming and always going from that box. "Antidepressants will kill you," she would yell if anyone asked her why she carried around so many pills in her handbag. "How dare you? Of course I don't take them." Everyone knew that she did. It was for this reason that I was wandering the markets of Wanchai, looking for a chemist I'd heard about. Thing is, Chinese medicine isn't like the stuff we get back home in Boots, and I didn't think I could stomach munching on 10 kilograms of Ming's marvellous medicinal mushrooms. Leaving me no alternative except to go for the more expensive option of under-the-counter drugs, I eventually found my way onto Lockhart Road. The street was already awash with the usual ugly mix of fat guilos and Filipinas who had come straight from their domestic chores in the mid-levels to service people as opposed to the apartments. I'd heard that it was pretty easy scoring pills in the strip clubs, but all I could get my hands on were a couple of watered-down gin and tonics that glowed like radioactive fluid in the UV, and the promise of a night I couldn't forget. It wasn't worth getting in an argument about the latter. I awoke on Sunday morning in a pool of vomit, with a pounding head and a voice that's best described as a cross between Barry White and my Uncle Frankie. My Uncle Frankie, before he went to Hollywood, used to keep a shotgun in a large steel box under the staircase. with a small tough padlock on the front, with one of those 2 turns to the left and 1 to the right dials on the front. Hong Kong, the home of Jackie Chan, isn't big on guns, hence the infamous Mongkok blades. I'd seen Kill Bill enough times to know exactly what I was after, so I grabbed a suitable sword from the rack. That's Claire. Works with Ed in HSBC. I've spent the last 6 weeks trying to get her to go out for a drink with me, but she's always told me that she's been busy. Up until that point, I'd interpreted her answers as a nice way of telling me to fuck off. But strangely, what you saw just then was her inviting me on a date to the cinema. I tore at the paper like it was the best Christmas present in the world. The steel felt strangely warm and not at all how I imagined. Dad will think I'm an idiot for playing with knives, but I guess at least I won't have let him down. Claire, on the other hand, is one person I will let down, but I'm sure she'll get over it. Besides, there'll be plenty more people just like me. Nobody's indispensable.